What's up next on Hannity? This
is really bad. Just for the record, we're all really nervous. So if people out there feel nervous, we do too.
Joe, give Mika a hug. You got the alt-left propaganda destroy Trump media. Well, they need to now admit that they're not unbiased journalists. They have a role in this game. We'll examine that. We'll get reaction from Larry Elder and Ari Fleischer straight ahead. Destroy Trump at all costs media. They're working overtime to take down the Trump administration. Listen to MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski. She seemed to be fighting back tears yesterday. She was so upset talking about President Trump. Watch this.
We're at a low point in American history, and I don't know how anybody can defend this president, even if it's their job. Like, you've got to have a job after this. You've got to look in the mirror after this. This is not funny. This is really bad. Just for the record, we're all really nervous. So if people out there feel nervous, we do too. And we don't think this is funny.
Really? A little maybe overwrought there. And CNN's Anderson Cooper, he says he's muted President Trump on Twitter. Let's look at more of the liberal media.
And I've actually muted the president on Twitter. Don't tell him.
What?
I've muted him.
You can do that?
Yeah, you know, when you get annoying people tweeting you, you don't want to delete because then that tells them you've deleted them.
Oh.
So if you just mute them, they think you're still following them, and you don't actually see their tweets. I just don't want to have that drama in my life. It's like,
again,
it's like having
president of that drama.
It's like having
you have to accept that he's president.
It's
Stop.
like having
you have to accept that he's president.
No, of course I do. I have great respect for the president.
Doesn't seem like it.
I just don't need to follow him on Twitter.
There's your fair, your balanced, unbiased journalist. Maybe they should stop pretending now and be who they are. Radical, lazy, leftist activists on TV. Joining us now with reaction, Salem, nationally syndicated radio talk show host Larry Elder, who's laughing, and former White House press secretary Ari Fleischer. All right, Ari, is that fair and balanced, or are they are they any different? Is that fair and balanced? I just want poor Mika. Somebody get her either a stiff drink or a padded room. Help her out.
Well, let me just say I'm not nervous. But look, Sean, as a press secretary, former press secretary, my job was to deal with all reporters, and I do, and I continue to enjoy doing that. But let me also add, Republicans always have to work twice as hard as Democrats to get a fair break in the press, and Donald Trump has to work 3 times as hard. And no, it's not fair and balanced. You know, you have to be a professional in this business, and I don't like the idea of professional journalists, neutral journalists, saying they're muting a president, a news source. And Mika's an opinion journalist, so she's in a bit of a different category. But people know, should not be nervous. I've said this repeatedly, and I say it when I do her show. Let it play out. Let's see what Donald Trump can do.
I didn't see that she was nervous when a guy palled around when an unrepentant terrorist became president. I don't remember going deep into that story like I did. Then President Obama was only asked one time during the campaign. Larry, I know you're laughing. There's a part, some of this is funny, I'm going to admit. But on another level, it's really, they do want to destroy Trump. They want to destroy the president. They're trying to delegitimize him, and they want to stop his agenda. And at most, if they're lucky, they want him out of office.
Oh, the inhumanity. The good news for Mika is that under the Obamacare replacement plan, whatever's bothering her is probably covered. I really think what's going on here...
She'll be all right.
I really think what's going on here is a deep-seated fear that this SOB might actually be successful. God forbid we get a 4% GDP growth, as was the case with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, when he ran for re-election, took 49 states. What did he do? Cut taxes, continue deregulation, and slow down the rate of non-defense government spending, all of which Donald Trump is doing. You put that together, we get a 4% GDP. None of this stuff will matter. Nobody will care about what Mika Brzezinski said, or Don Lemon, or Katie Tur, or any of the other people that are really, frankly, quite hysterical over this presidency.
You know, but the bottom line, though, Ari, is I've said journalism is dead. You know, look at, for example, the New York Times. The New York Times reported that the president was wiretapped. They did it multiple times, as did the BBC, as did McClatchy, as did other major sources, mainstream media news. The president acknowledges what they reported, and somehow he's to blame. When are they ever going to have some introspection, some self-examination as it relates to colluding with Hillary Clinton? And if they're going to blame Trump for reporting and talking about what they report, when are they going to take the same blame on themselves? It's kind of hypocritical, isn't it?
It will never happen, Sean. And you know, look, I'm in a little bit of a different position on this in terms of my viewpoint. I don't think they're dead, but I think they've severely wounded themselves. And the American people agree with that. And that's what the Gallup poll that came out last fall showed.
You agree they colluded with Hillary? Would you agree they didn't vet Obama?
Instances of questions shared, you had questions of them sharing questions for a debate. That happened on CNN in one instance. And that never should have happened. And so the point is, the press is not neutral. The press is biased. I've dealt with that for the decades that I was in Washington, from Capitol Hill all the way through the White House. It's far worse with Donald Trump. And that's the era we're in now. But look at the day like today. Today is what the Trump presidency is and should be about: repealing and replacing Obamacare. Larry's right. These are the big issues upon which Donald Trump's presidency is going to rise or fall. And today has been a very good day for Donald Trump.
I think that's good, with one caveat. He's got a lot of conservative opposition. I think they should have built the consensus plan before they released it. That's my own personal view. Secretary Price was very clear that it's going to happen in 3 phases, and that all of the critics will be included in the end. Larry, I say that if Donald Trump checks off that promise list and gets it done, he walks into re-election in spite of all the noise that you hear everywhere.
I agree with that 100%. And it's one thing for the media to be biased. We already knew that. It's another thing for the media to collude. And because of WikiLeaks, we found out the New York Times, the Washington Post, staffers for Jake Tapper at CNN, staffers for Wolf Blitzer, Dana Milbank, the columnist with the Washington Post, contacting the DNC, getting ideas, getting suggestions. This is collusion. This is far beyond just simply having a sympathetic and political, agreement with the left. These are people who are literally trying to get Republicans defeated. I've never seen the like of it. And one of the things that Donald Trump has done that no other president has done is call them on it, put them on notice, and let people know that they are not just biased, that they are actively trying to stop Republicans. And no one's done that before. And I salute Mr. Trump for having done that.
All right, guys, great segment. Thank you both for being with us. Always appreciate you being on. All right, when we come